Truck Talk Media.
C10 Talk, episode 323. We've got Scott and Patrick, CK Truck Mag 2.0. We're talking updates, maybe some changes. Let's see what they got in store for us. Here we go.
Not necessarily a surprise, but don't know that I was expecting it to unfold that quickly. So in the last 60 days, we've just done a major reset. I've taken over possession of all the assets of the magazine. We've kind of had to put a couple of things on the side burner. We didn't print a November, December issue just to kind of fast track the reset. So here we are. We find ourselves January 1, 2026. If you want to call it CK Truck Magazine 2.0, that's where we are right now. So I'm proud to say we've printed 2 issues already, and they're mailing out tomorrow morning. We're on to the next 2 issues and the next 2 issues, and that's where we are at this point. So it's all present and future moving forward. There's no looking back.
Damn, son. USA1Industries.com. Your square body source. Used them for my SEMA build. I've been pimping out their dashes for so long, 10 plus years. And people would always ask me, where's the best dash pad? USA1 Industries. USA1 Industries, without a doubt. So the team over there has been so supportive to me, my build. I get on their website, their process, it's easy, it flows. I can know what parts, and sometimes, honestly, I'm not even sure what parts I need, but when I go through the website, it kind of cues my mind, and I'm like, oh yeah, I should buy that. Oh yeah, I need that. It was extremely helpful. I got 2 large shipments when I was doing the Big Sky Bonanza build, and it saved me. It really did, to know, oh yeah, I'm glad that I ordered that. So when you're going through a big build, think USA1 Industries. Great support, fast shipping. Everything came just as I needed it to. And honestly, their packaging and their labeling was great. So I would be going through packages and I'd be like, oh yeah, this is this grommet. Oh yeah, this is this hardware. So support those guys, USA1Industries.com. They are the title sponsor of C10 Talk, and we appreciate all their support. Check them out, guys. 73 to 91, you need it. They got it. They ain't got it. You don't need it.
Let me tell you what Melvin's Post is packing right here. I've got 411 posi track out back, 750 double pumper, Edelbrock intakes, scored over 30, 11 to 1 pop-up pistons, turbojet, 390 horsepower. We're talking some bucking muscle.
What does that do? Does that blow your mind? That just happened.
Welcome to C10 Talk, your C10 Truck podcast.
And now I have a chance to be the best, maybe the best in the world.
My old man is a television repairman. Got the ultimate set of tools. I can fix it.
I said I got 50 cents in that jukebox, and all I can hear is your mouth flapping. You hear that?
Here's your host, Ronnie Wedge.
What's up, C10 Nation? Back 323. We had Dave Hall 322 and Andy from Classic Truck Products prior to that. So with everything going on with Barrett, we had Dave Hall and Tyler Flaherty with Restore a Muscle Car on, talking all things auction. So maybe get them back, or I should probably get somebody else to sit down for next episode. Talk a little bit more about the craziness, my experience, and the Blazer ran. If you didn't see it, 155 Saturday night. Woo, it was a good time. It was hectic. It was stressful. You know, hindsight, looking at it, you kind of think, oh, okay, I see where some different things, and it all kind of flashes. So we'll get into that next week. Let's get into CK Truck Mag with Scott and Patrick 2.0. So some updates. We've been missing a few issues. They're getting us caught up. So I reached out to those guys and said, hey, let's bring it out. Let's talk to the world and give them the update of everything you guys been working through. and it's pretty cool. So they sat down and shared this story, shared how it all happened, shared the update, and I think we got as much as we could get. There's some things that I think I asked some hard questions, and anytime we have a norm and then all of a sudden we don't have a mag, we don't have it, people are going to say, what the hell's going on? And then when you have a big change like new ownership, people are going to want to know what's going on. And those guys were great, giving us the up down or the low down or the all around, keeping us informed. And that's, they're in media now, so pretty cool to sit down with them. Scott Mason, Patrick Gibellina, good times, both guests of the show, prior episodes. CK 2.0 coming at us. I'll have 324 probably sit down, talk a little bit about the auction, and I've got a long list of guests coming up here in this first quarter. Don't forget, let's see, what do we got? We got the reunion coming up. We've got the C10 Red Rock Retreat. He's sold out already. That is an absolute blast. I hope to make it to that show again this year, depending on my daughter's track schedule, but always a good time. Great time, really, that we had last year. So I highly recommend, if you can't make that one, look at it, start planning, and make it happen. What else do we got this summer? Oh, there's so much going on. The usual. You've got the slowdown, you've got the intervention, you've got SETN, you've got in August, you've got C10s on the Capitol in Olympia, Washington. Plenty going on there, and there's new shows popping up all the time. So pretty cool stuff that we've got going. Post auction, it's been a crazy week for me. So I was happy to be able to sit down, pre-record with Scott and Patrick, get this out to you. All right, guys, have a great week. Questions, comments, concerns, you know how to get a hold of me. Ronnie, RONNIE at trucktalkmedia.com. Ronnie at trucktalkmedia.com, or DM me at C10 Talk. All right, guys, late. All right. C10 Nation coming at you, a little CK Truck Mag. I've got Patrick Gibellina, and we've got Scott Mason, editor and chief, and do everything of the magazine. 2026 is kicking it off, and we thought, let's get these boys on. So, Patrick, you've been on OBS Talk, and Scott, you've been on C10 a time or two. So we're gonna break that 2026 cherry nut pod, whatever the hell you want to come up with, and we're going to talk about the magazine. So thanks for coming on, and let's go. What are you up to?
Thanks for having us back. Good to be back.
Yeah, we're good to go.
Yeah, so let's do this. What do you want to know? Talk to me, Goose.
How about Patrick? I mean, how did you end up with his ass?
So Patrick and I go back probably 6 or so years. If I do my math right, I guess, back to 2020, my first trip to Dino's. We met and just kind of struck a friendship, and we've seen each other, hung out multiple times over the years, many events. We go to the same shows, and we just always ended up hanging out together, and just kind of, I think we share some common views on the community and the scene, and I like hanging out with them. So here we are, 6 years later. Opportunities happen, and here we are.
All right, Patrick, you started Mr. G's Classics a few years ago, and now you find yourself at least half of Shortbed Media, Shortbed Print, and what you guys are going to do. So that's got to be a little bit something to think about when you look at your 5-10 year of what's going on in your life, and now you're part of a magazine, a very well respected magazine, a respected publication, and you find yourself in the middle of things. What's your thoughts on that, and then landing where you're at?
It's totally self-inflicted. I'm a workaholic, and Scott and I have been friends for years, and like he was saying, we'd see each other at all the shows. I feel like Scott and I have a very specific style of stuff that we like, and we really mesh really well on that. We both have had Volkswagens and trucks and, all the things. And, we just have a lot of similarities, became fast friends, and a conversation started a couple months ago. And, we just, you know, I don't know how to say this the best way, but, it turned into what today's all about. So, conversation a couple months ago, and, now 2026, it's actually happening. And, we're hitting the ground running, and kind of a little rebirth, or a fresh face, or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, I'm excited. I know Scott's excited. We have so many plans that we've talked about, and we kind of have built out that we want to do. So yeah, we're just super pumped for 2026.
Well, I like how you said it, kind of a rebirth, and people, they might take a truck or a classic, a car, something like that, and they do a 2.0 or a second version, and we could, look at that and say, hey, this is a CK Truck Mag 2.0 for you, Scott. Some big changes, I assume, and some changes. I mean, what would you say for a magazine that's definitely established themselves in the classic truck world, obviously the Chevy GM truck world, 5-6 years of magazines print that you've had the enjoyment of working your butt off. You've been so, I mean, just vested in it, and the community, that's a big part of it. What would you say is something, when you look back, like why the change? What's happened where we look at print? You've got street trucks, to me, at one point was, I mean, at one point they were the only one left. Then Classic Truck Performance comes on, and Rob Fortier and his group of ownership, and then CK comes along with you and Chris Baker. For the audience, whether you've put it all together or not, but Chris Baker is also a partner, I believe, a major partner in C10 Nationals, the circuit of truck shows that I think there's 3 of those. So why the change? What's happened that's instigated or allowed or caused the change?
Yeah. I think we just got to a point where things had continued to get busier and busier and busier. When we started the magazine, it was during COVID. There weren't any shows going on. Chris and I could both be devoted to the magazine in its entirety, and we did that. We did that, full blast. And 2021 kind of came. The shows started happening. The workload started to change a lot. I was becoming more and more responsible for the day-to-day of the magazine. Chris was handling the finances and the backside of things, dealing with advertisers and sponsors and that type of thing. As his shows continued to grow, his to shrink and shrink and shrink. We just got to a point where we had to do something. That something happened in the last 2 or 3 months, and was kind of a surprise. Not necessarily a surprise, but don't know that I was expecting it to unfold that quickly. So in the last 60 days, we've just done a major reset. I've taken over possession of all the assets of the magazine, and we've kind of had to put a couple of things on the side burner. We didn't print a November, December issue just to kind of fast track the reset. So here we are. We find ourselves January 1, 2026, and if you want to call it CK Truck Magazine 2.0, that's where we are right now. So I'm proud to say we've printed 2 issues already, and they're mailing out tomorrow morning. And we're on to the next 2 issues and the next 2 issues, and that's where we are at this point. So it's all present and future moving forward. There's no looking back.
So what would you say, for the audience? We had October. It came kind of in a January form. Prints usually
Right.
print's usually quite a bit ahead. I don't know how that happened, but print is usually almost 2 months ahead. At some point, you would see an October and a magazine, it would come and it wouldn't even be October yet. So I look at like we've been behind. You're getting caught up. The two that you printed, which would be the January, February, if you will, what would you say is a big change? What would you say is something that we're going to notice, if at all anything, that's going to be different about Shortbed Media?
I think content wise, just every moment that Patrick and I have talked, over the last 30, 45, 60 days has revolved around the content of the magazine. We with Patrick having a facility building trucks and having access to a talented staff, we have the capability of doing real tech now. More so than me just spending 2.5 years building a truck in my in my in my shop in my spare time. He can do a tech install quickly, and he Patrick has a photographer, videographer, Brandon on staff who can capture that, and it's something that we can knock out like in real time, overnight basically. So if we have any kind of tech or any kind of an install thing that we want to do, boom, we can do it right now. We don't have to find somebody to do it. We don't have to find a place to do it. We can do it. So tech, I think we're in the middle of kind of regrouping our event coverage a little bit, and we just want to spice it up. We want to be able to add some different factors to that event coverage and make it a little bit more special. And we're going to continue to cover, feature trucks. Just it doesn't necessarily have to be the most badass truck or the newest or whatever, but cool stuff that fits our flavor. So
yeah, it's funny to think because back in the days, as a I guess the way to phrase it is the truck guys, the magazine guys had to go to shows because that's how you got the content, because you would see trucks that grabbed you and you're like, my audience is going to like this. Now it's not so much because social media has allowed people to see a truck that might not even have gone to a show yet, and you follow a builder who's building, knows that, hey, this guy's always building something, let's pay attention here, and hey, this is hot off the presses. So back in the old days, 10, 15, 20 years ago, you had to go to shows if you were part of a magazine, kind of a talent scout, if you will. So now things have changed. One thing I will say about CK for the last 5 years, 6 years is, there's really not a lot of tech. And what's your thought on adding tech from the perspective of not only having Mr. G's Classics at your beck and call, but I think the tech allows you to work with a lot of the sponsors that way.
Right. What I want to offer the advertisers is a little bit more bang for their buck. We realize at this point in time that print is not your instant gratification outlet. If you have something that you want to release and want to see it hit the public today or tomorrow, that's Facebook, that's Instagram, that's TikTok. We know that. But the legacy of having that magazine sitting around in your magazine rack, you'll pick it up at another point in time and go, "Ooh, look at this. I remember this. Yeah, I need that for my truck now." Or if it's a really interesting tech piece, I think we're looking for the flavor. We want the variety. We want to be able to just have a complete package. That's
Patrick,
the big story.
For you, what do you bring, or what are you thinking like, hey, I'm pretty excited about this? Because I look at you being the outsider coming in, the shop owner, the truck enthusiast. So I dig that. But when you sit down and you write your top 5 things for the mag and the change and the 2.0, What are you excited about?
Fresh content, and we really want to bring more of a media side to the magazine as well, whether it be YouTube, video shot tech articles, anything that we can put on the website or YouTube based, or even in short form content on Instagram. It's just kind of making everything fresh and up to date, and that way the subscribers are really getting what's requested of a media company today. CK Truck Mag, even though it is a magazine, it's still a media company. We're bringing people media. So it's going to be a complete overhaul of everything that we're doing. Obviously, Scott is the editor, and he's going to put in the magazine what he thinks looks the best, what trucks we think are deserving to be in the magazine, and the tech articles, and working really with those companies. Because I mean, my daily job is I work with a bunch of different companies. At my shop, we work with like maybe 10 companies that we use over and over and over again. This is an opening eye to me. Maybe there's someone else out there that I don't know about, or, and we can bring all those little things to the readers, and then hopefully down in the future in video form as well. What I'm really excited about, because I do have a videographer on staff, we really just want to grow it to where I believe CK should have evolved like maybe 24 months ago, and really have this big, better picture. That way everyone can really dig into the magazine, and then we have more avenues for them to get more media, more content.
Great question, or great answer to that question. But I also wonder, from a guy who, again, I get magazines, I get a lot of magazines, I love magazines, I still look at them, not as much. It just comes down to a time thing. When you're approached about becoming a partner in 2.0 Shortbed Media, was it something that you couldn't say yes fast enough, or did you actually have to think about it and say, hey, print is tough. It is kind of a dying thing. I do think that, like Scott said, that legacy of having your truck in a magazine, having it framed, having it something that you can pick up, you can share. I don't think at a high quality that's going away. I think CK has proven that. So when you're walk us through some of your decision, like was that tough? Was that like, oh wow, this is cool, or were you always like, hey, this, if the opportunity ever presents itself, I'd love to have that opportunity?
Um, to me, there was no questions asked. It's like I wanted to do it. I like taking on more than I can do, and that's how I function really, really well, is having lots of things to do every single day. I'm very blessed at the shop right now, where I have someone who pretty much controls the day to day, and I'm dealing just with customers and all the big things in the behind the scenes, paying the bills and all the fun stuff that comes along with running a business, which we all know. But yeah, I don't have 100% hands-on, even though I am, I'd say 98% hands-on inside the shop. But I have that amount of time to dedicate to really helping Scott build back CK to where it should be.
So Scott, you brought it up, and a kind of a situation where life moves fast. I find myself with the pod doing this all the time. Obviously, I just wrapped up a SEMA build, and now it's going to Barrett. So the content isn't coming out every 2 weeks like it has for C10 talk. But do you feel like taking on that? Obviously, you're not going to just blast Patrick on the pod, but now you're getting into a situation where I worry that the same thing could happen, right? You got a guy who's got a lot of hats on. We're going to give him more hats. Your hats are going to change. How will you guys both figure that balance out, if at all possible? I mean, life's tough.
It is tough. Really the last 30 days has been just completely trial by fire. I mean, we've we've been standing in the battlefield having people shoot, cannonballs at us. So it has revitalized my passion for it. So I'm on the gas. I've been on the gas 12, 14 hours a day, this during this rebuild period, and I'm going to continue doing that. So the long and short I don't even know if I'm answering the question, but it's it, as far as figuring out how we're going to allocate our time, we're learning as we go. Um, we're both so passionate about making this happen and making this next level that I don't know that it's been a concern for me how much time I'm spending or what each of us are doing. We're both in it to win it, and hey, this needs to be done now. Okay, let's do that. Let's do it. Let's do it. So that's how we've been handling it. 6 months from now, I think we'll have a better roadmap. I think we'll have a better plan, and I the hard work I think is going to pay off.
Well, I think the community will rally behind the success of the magazine. I think
Mm-hmm.
um, the magazine is done well. People love the content. It's got a great flow. It's got beautiful. I mean, the covers are just stunning. The one with the white Tahoe, that one was last year. Then you got that turquoise slope nose C10. So you guys are really taking a fresh vibe, and really,
Yeah.
setting a standard for that. You've got your centerfolds, truck show stuff, a lot of great content. Again, it's just that balance. You'll have to add maybe another hat or two. It sounds like it. Whereas, are you going to be more from not only the editor, but are you going to be doing, more stuff with those sponsors and again, how does that all balance out? How do you guys see that? I know CK's use a lot of freelance from Foolish Media, Kevin Aguilar to Grinder, Brian Good. I've seen different guys that have been on staff and shot a lot of stuff, and that's nice, right? So you have people all over the country that can help with that. So that's got to be something that you can count on, that you're not always having to be that guy. Hey guys, are you thinking about swapping out your old motor for a more reliable LSLT based power plant? Behind each PSI harness, you get over 10 years of experience in the business, online tech support, phone support, and harnesses made in the U.S. That's psiconversion.com. What's up, guys? Who doesn't like to bundle and save? From headlights to taillights to marker lights, UP Car Parts got you covered. upcarparts.com. Save up to 20% today. You've heard me talk about my gauges. Dakota Digital. I love them. Dakota Digital has the best gauges for our trucks. These kits are complete with sensors for any engine. They look just like the stock clusters, but have all the technology you'd expect from Dakota Digital. It's like a modern truck, but even better in a classic. Dakota Digital is absolutely the best in aftermarket gauges, so check them out at dakotadigital.com. dakotadigital.com. Again, how does that all balance out? How do you guys see that? I know CK's use a lot of freelance from Foolish Media, Kevin Aguilar to Grinder, Brian Good. I've seen different guys that have been on staff and shot a lot of stuff, and that's nice, right? So you have people all over the country that can help with that. So that's got to be something that you can count on, that you're not always having to be that guy.
Right.
I think Scott and I are sharing a lot of the same responsibilities as overlap needs to happen right now in the rebuild stage. And just like how Scott said, if it's 3 months from now or 12 months from now, we'll find that happy medium. But as of right now, we're completely happy working in tune with each other. It's on a daily basis, whether it's, talking to advertisers, or maybe a ball's been dropped somewhere and I'm talking to some of the freelancers, because, literally, Scott, the last 20 days I've been putting 2 magazines together. So I've been really fielding a lot of the other stuff that needs to be taken care of with the magazine, because we were hard pressed with what happened the last 2 months, that the subscribers were owed 2 magazines, and we were going to do our best to make sure that those 2 magazines got printed this month, and that way they got both of them back to back. And Scott kind of mentioned it earlier, but we didn't go into depth on this. We're only going to print 6 times a year compared to 12 times a year, where we're printing both issues those 2 months next to each other at the same time. That way we're not going to miss any dates moving forward. So if you're January book, you're going to get January, you're going to get February. And that way it actually helps us make sure that the content is getting to the subscribers faster, and it's not, being held by the USPS or whatever the case may be after the printers print it. We're doing that on purpose to get it into the hands of our readers as fast as possible.
I didn't know that. So you're saying you're gonna still get 12 books. It's just gonna print for you guys
6 times a year.
6 times a year.
2 months at a time.
Okay, so won't that workload possibly be a lot more getting that second, that number 2, that number 4, that number 6, that number 8, and so on and so forth, getting that double mag going?
So probably January, and Scott can talk to this more, but probably January through April is going to be real tough because we're going to put, obviously a certain amount of magazines out that fast. But I mean, Scott's the editor. He's been doing it for 5 years. He can handle it. And it was a good idea from our printer that really helps us on the back end. So it makes sense for us to do it that way. And we feel like it's going to get to the end user much faster and better.
Well, another thing you brought up, Patrick, was like, hey, the last, let's just call it the 30, 60 days, you've been figuring it out. You both are just, I look at it as like new parents. Like, hey, I know my role, you know your role. Let's just figure it out and we'll evolve as we go. And we're going to do the best we can for this C10 Truck Mag baby. And, I think from that perspective, you'll figure out your roles. There was some thoughts, or I guess I did talk to Scott about that, but some stuff got held up at USPS. What was the deal with that one that was the October mag, right?
Right. Yeah, I think the USPS in its entirety had some holdups. Some beginning in October, November, they just kind of shuffled some things out of the way for, from what I'm understanding, Amazon holiday rush and whatever. There was stuff that took precedence over bulk mail. So
how does that work for the print? Does the print, I have no, I don't come from the magazine industry. Does the printer take it, in pallets to USPS, or do you guys have to intervene with that?
Yeah, our printer handles all of it. So the printer that we use, I've been dealing with this printer personally in different companies that I've worked for over the last close to 35 years. So wow. I know these people very well, this facility well. So the magazines are printed. So they were printed on I believe the 9th. I think that was the day they were printed.
Of October?
They go, no. I'm kind of jumping ahead, but our January and February books were printed. So for a timeline, they were printed January 9th. They go to their bindery where they're, obviously the books are bound, and in our case, it's a saddle stitch, so they're stapled together because of our poster that we have. And then from there, they go to a polybagging station where they're bagged, they're ink jetted with the address label, any messaging that goes on the outside. Then they're all grouped into bulk bundles that go to different regional zip code coagulations, if you will, just like, but the bulk of them, the way they go out, the way they leave the printer is on skids with those bundles pre-bundled. So then they hit a major mail distribution center, and then they start to break up and go to the different hubs and then down to the local levels. So when you're looking at it and you're looking at, well, why does this thing take 8 days or 9 days or 10 days? It's actually pretty phenomenal that they can work them through the system that quickly. But in today's, instant gratification way of looking at things, it is forever. But that's the general process. How do they lose stuff? How do they shuffle stuff? How do they mess stuff up? I don't know. The printer doesn't know. Sometimes it just works itself out. We've had a couple of different instances, but for the most part, it's been fairly flawless. Considering the footsteps that those books have to take before they get to a consumer.
Yeah, I think we need a Mike Rowe dirtiest jobs episode, because there's so many things that we don't know that, like you said, not only
Oh
does it
yeah.
get printed, then it's got to get bounded, then it's got to get saddle stitched, then it's got to get poly bagged, then it's got to get this. So there's all kinds of steps that we do take for granted, and you just want that thing to show up like it's supposed to every 30 to 35 days. And there's a lot going on, right? So there's a lot going on behind the scenes at all times. I assume you'll be wearing more hats than you've ever wore, because a guy that was the editor, now you're going to be doing some advertisement and layout. I've talked to different guys that I've had on the pod from an interview perspective, editor in chiefs. I think Chris Hamilton, Street Trucks, he does a good job. He's really got this massive whiteboard. They lay it all out. They've got their cover. One great point is there's only 12 covers a year, right? So that's it, right? So it's hard to pick all these different trucks. Some trucks come in and you're like, well, is that going to bump this guy, and so on and so forth? How do you guys kind of lay all that out, and will any of that change?
I don't see any of that changing for the moment. I mean, we don't have any red tape. We don't have any hoops to jump through. So it's really the two of us deciding on it. So it kind of boils down to what content that we actually can capture, what we can photograph, the feature trucks that we can find at shows and events and just out and about. As far as, I typically will have books. I think the content of the book's laid out 6 months in advance, sometimes 8 months in advance. So right now I basically have everything, all the content curated from here until probably the August, September, October issue for 2026. So stuff gets bumped. If something really, really crazy, or something that has to go on a cover pops up, yeah, we can make that happen. So
Yeah. I mean, for the audience not to understand that, that's just life, but you have a layout 6 months out, and that sounds pretty epic, but before you know it, 6 months is here. And like you said, you've been, CK's been around for 6 years. It's been very well received. You guys have an influence in what we're doing. We like to see the new products. We're excited that there's going to be tech now, and working along some of those vendors and those people that are behind you. What else? I mean, I like the color, I like the size, I like the paper. Go ahead, Patrick.
I already have on board like two big companies that we're going to start shooting tech articles for in the next like 4 weeks. So one of them is going to be AMD, and the other company I'm almost finished everything with. So I mean, yeah, we want to bring that and stuff that guys can do at home. I mean, not pro level shops doing this or that. Like we want it to be like very digestible, and then when it goes to a video form or maybe a couple pages in the magazine, we want this for the DIYers. I mean, that's what tech articles are for, the guys that are building stuff in their garage or their small shop behind their house, or whichever. So
yeah, and people are wanting to learn every day, whether that's YouTube or social media that might take you to a YouTube. The problem is there's so much, right? So you think about it, back in the old days, you save all your magazines. If you guys even had any idea how many magazines are surrounding me right now, I really have contemplated getting rid of a lot of, like, 25 plus years of magazines. I don't need them. I just hold on to them. But back in the day, where I'm going with that is, man, I would sticky note, I would write this, oh, I remember that, I'm going to do that to my truck, and I'm going to do this. Now it seems like things are moving so fast. YouTube is, I guess, the second biggest, world's largest search engine. That's what we do. People go right to YouTube. How do you fix this? How do you repair this? How do you pop this? This is kicking my ass. What do I do here? And how do I get this layout? So for you guys to incorporate part of that into your algorithm, into your process, for us, I mean, we know that there's so many outlets for you, social media, let's call it Facebook, Instagram, and maybe even TikTok, whether or not that's, an avenue for you. YouTube, obviously pod. There's so many avenues. I just feel like it becomes a balance of where are you going to throw those dollars to make sure that you're capturing the reader, the consumer at all times. that's probably the toughest thing. Not only a balance between your own lives, but a balance between how much shit we can do.
Right. I mean, here's one odd thing that I think about often, and it's the fact that we can't control an algorithm. I mean, you can hire an SEO company or whatever you want to call it today to blast your business or your product on any of the meta platforms. But in our business, we can control how many books are going on, what exact newsstand, if that's the outlet we want to take. And we've had great success with putting books at Barnes and Noble. Tractor Supply has been a great outlet for us. We can control that. We can, to some degree, control who we are presenting our subscription buying to entice people to buy a subscription. More so, I believe, than we can control an algorithm or put us in front of somebody. Working to try to be in front of somebody on a meta platform from a grassroots perspective takes years. It's not overnight. It can be. I mean, if you hit something that goes wild or viral, but it's a long road. So we're analog. We're still doing it. We're doing it that way, and we're controlling our boundaries. We're controlling our ceilings. We're controlling everything that we can to make it financially viable. So there's nuances. There's a uniqueness to what we're doing, and I want to see it live. I want to see it keep living. And there's a buyer for it. I mean, there's definitely a consumer that wants it. So
I agree, and I think the best boots on the ground way is the shows, right? And
yeah,
and the people, and Lord knows we have more shows than ever. They're popping up on the weekly. So you got to pick your shows. You got to get out there. You got to shake hands, meet people, talk to them about their truck, and in turn, the community will respond and they'll love it. And I think that's a big part of it, knowing that, hey, CK Truck Mag is part of the community, and we want to be part of the community, and we're going to continue to support the community. We're going to put badass trucks and events in this magazine. We're going to give you the tech and find that balance. So I get it. It's just it's like you said, maybe
it's
uphill
talking the
battle.
talk,
Yeah,
and walking the walk.
Yeah, and finding that balance.
Right.
Yeah, we literally like last week finalized the show schedule, like shows Scott's going to, shows I'm going to, the shows we're both going to. That way we're all, we like my videographer that works here for me is going to go with me and shoot video. He's going to shoot feature trucks. All of our, photographers that are already working with us, they all know what shows they're going to go shoot and stuff like that. So the last 2 weeks, I mean, I've talked to a bunch of the photographers that, hey, I may follow on Instagram, but we've never had a real conversation before. So we've been both going back and forth about what shows do we need to go to? What shows have we not been to? Like, what shows have CK not been to? Like, I'm going to go to a couple of shows this year that I've never been to. And I've been to like the majority of the biggest shows, but CK is going to have a presence moving forward at all the shows that we need to be at. And that way the community knows that we're still here for them. And we want to bring them the stuff, the newest stuff from the shows. And one of the other things that I've been spending some time on is, I'm good friends with a lot of the builders in this community because I'm a builder. So reaching out to the builders and saying, hey, what you got working right now that is going to be finished, and when's it going to be finished? And, CK wants first whack at it. We want that cover truck, or we want to feature it, or whatever the case may be. So we are going to bring the best coverage that we can bring, and we're going to make sure that everyone gets the show coverage that they really want to see if you didn't get a chance to make it out to that show.
Yeah, love it. One of the things I think that Patrick said, Scott, that I wonder what your take is on this is 5 years ago, if you were on a cover and or in a mag, then you probably didn't get looked at by another mag. And somehow that has changed. And I think it's better because I think mags have personality. And I think that to be in one print shouldn't exclude you. But what's your thoughts on that evolution of how that's changed? Where back in the day, it's like guys would race to get that truck, and then it was I don't know if it was just a forbidden, it was taboo, it was unspoken, like, oh no, that, I mean, we can say trucking because they're RIP, classic trucks is RIP, custom classic trucks is RIP. So let's just say use those three as examples. If you were on classic trucks, then custom classic truck wouldn't shoot you, or trucking wouldn't shoot you. And then street trucks was around too, but obviously things have changed. So what's your thoughts on that?
So you bought a C10 and it either had AC at one time or it wasn't even an option. Well, Vintage Air has the solution for you. Their SureFit kits are designed to place the evaporator and hoses behind the dash for a factory clean look. The Vintage Air SureFit kits are the best value and the most completely engineered air conditioning system you can install in your C10. Damn, son, the choice is obvious. VintageAir.com.
Have you guys heard of Doja Mat? Retro mats done right. You know those classic floor mats we all grew up with? Well, Doja Mat has created that same classic style with all of your favorite slogans. Check them out at dojamat.com. That's DOJAMAT.com. Dojamat.com. Retro mats done right. So let's just say use those three as examples. If you were on classic trucks, then custom classic truck wouldn't shoot you, or trucking wouldn't shoot you. And then street trucks was around too, but obviously things have changed. So what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I slightly disagree with you that things have changed, because I think I myself, it does not bother me if a truck's been in another magazine or not. I mean, if I think it's deserving, I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm.
I think just from what I've run into, it does get a little territorial as far as other people go, or other people's views on it, but it does not bother me one way or another. We're going to put our flavor on it. We're going to do our thing, and we're going to make it happen. But kind of one of my reference points, or my benchmarks for how many covers can a vehicle be on. There's a local guy in Columbus, Ohio, who owns a very successful bar music venue. He had a local builder build a 57 Chevy for him back in, I'm going to say 2000s. Let's see, that would have been 1997. And this car was probably one of the first pro touring, like all out cars that was super badass. That car was on 17 magazine covers within, I'm going to say 12 months.
That's crazy.
It deserved it. It deserved it. That car was so over the top. And I mean, I'm talking around the world. So that was probably the pinnacle of the number of publications, in existence. I mean, hundreds of magazines, really being printed, dozens of big names that were being printed at that point in time. So for that to happen there, I don't see why that can't coexist today. And the whole rising tides and floating boats part, I believe in that. I think everybody raises everyone up. So I think I don't look at anyone as competition. I look at it as everyone continuing to thrive and make everybody else stronger. So that's my view.
Yeah, I mean, it's I could see, because you're on the deep inside of it, that people are still maybe perturbed, like, but to me, I think the recipient should say something too, where not necessarily this successful guy on 17 covers, but if you've already committed, you should be like, hey, I'm already on this, just letting you know. I guess if the new magazine says, yeah, we don't care, then I don't know, then maybe the other magazine gets mad.
Oh yeah.
I think in
No,
this
no,
world
I'm
we live in now, social media, it's like, cool, you're on the magazine. Well, I've seen your shit posted, 2 million times on social media. So I just think it's that balance, and
yeah.
I agree with you because you're saying what you're saying and you're in the industry. I could see where some people might be a little, like I, I just think somebody might give you a hard time about it, but I think back in the day, like they'd be like, fuck that guy,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
and you'd
think
be
in the
like,
mini truck world or in the truck
oh,
world, it was definitely hardcore. I mean, I
yeah.
know that for a fact. And I know that from my water cooled Volkswagen existence too. It was the same way. Um, I'm not saying that I want the scoop on anybody. I mean, if I know somebody has shot a truck before me, I'm not in a race to go put it on the cover of my magazine before they do. That's not where I'm coming from at all. So it's I think we could do a really nice job of featuring somebody's truck, and everybody's happy. So and the opportunity, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen that often. Where we cross paths. So,
Well,
but
there's a lot of content, right? Which is still,
yeah,
I would think, really goes back to the viability of it. That there is so much content. What a great problem to have in this world that
right.
we're in. I mean,
For sure.
there is a new truck, there is a new car, there is something coming out, like, I mean, at all times. And that is such a great thing. I remember somebody saying, as busy as these chassis companies are, and there's so many of them, we're not going to run out of cars and trucks to feature anytime soon because there's a roaster shop and obviously Boris, and whether it's Rev B, GSI, Porterbuilt, Rideman Ranch, Scott Rods. I mean, guy just keeps going, right? There's a lot of companies out there building really rad chassis. And if you're going to spend the money on a rad chassis, then you're going to build something pretty kick ass that CK Truck Magazine is going to be ready to shoot because, it kind of goes with the territory. So it's such a great situation to have that we live in this world where, again, and even just in the States, it would be cool, just throwing that out there, to have like an international edition or issue where you had some Canadian, France, Germany, UK, Australia, if you could ever put something like that together, or maybe like a feature, the I don't know, the across the
We're
pond feature.
we're starting to check them off the list. We had the
Yeah.
we had the Kiwi guys, the
Yeah.
gray C10, which was, I mean, outstanding truck. I mean, we have a Canadian truck coming up that's already been on the cover of another magazine, but we have that truck coming up. We have some UK coverage coming up
Cool.
from that big show. So, I mean, the sky's the limit. I mean,
Yeah.
if it's cool, man, that's where we want to be.
I assume you'll still use some of the same freelance people that you've got around the country and helping you out. Makes things a lot
Yeah.
easier.
Yep, that's the plan. So, and I think we've covered the bases with the majority of those guys, and everybody's on board and is they like our vision, and everybody said let's go. So
Yeah. Yeah,
we're in.
they'll take the money. They're going to be out there shooting anyways. So that's actually one thing to bring up. I think like Good Guys and Fuel Curve, and that's obviously Kevin Aguilar does a lot with that. I think that's a great balance. The way I love that, and what they do. Stephen Bunker with Good Guys, and then getting that stuff out. They've covered our the reunion. I've talked to those guys. So now, granted, Good Guys has got more money, so they put a lot of that stuff out, but there's another publication, if you will, that's out there, and there's a lot going on in our world. There's a lot of media, and everybody's looking for those eyeballs, right?
Yeah, yep. We know what our niche is, and that's uh, we stay in our lane a bit, but we're looking to make that lane a little bit wider. But yeah, I mean, and the people that are out there that are doing a great job of it, Terry Lysick, does some of the fuel curve stuff too, and it's just everybody who's doing it. from when we started this in 2020 till today, I look back at where we were then versus where we are now, quality wise, and it's continued to just blow me away how much things have progressed, every day, and it's just gotten so much better and cooler, and everybody's just gotten so much more efficient at doing what they do, and they're happy doing what they do, and we've had a good working relationship with everybody, and it's that's where I want to be. I want to continue that. I mean, this is something that a lot of those guys started doing in the truck world before I became a professional part of it, I should say. So they kind of set the tone, but everybody has grown at the same time. So it's cool. It's really
Well,
cool.
yeah, I mean, you have previous editor-in-chiefs of, Kevin, for
Yeah,
example, Brian
right.
Good. I mean,
Yep.
there's a lot of talent and experience there. One thing you
Yeah.
said,
Brandon Burrell, Grant
yeah,
Cox,
Brandon. Oh, Grant, my God, goes way back. You said
right.
stay in your lane. At one point, and do you envision a second magazine? Did you guys have a second magazine for a little bit, a car magazine?
There was a car magazine.
And is that something that would continue, or that wasn't part of the evolution?
That was not a part of my business, so I put that magazine together. That's a tough world. The car world is a different world than the truck world. I don't really have an interest
But
in that
that won't be
again.
part of moving forward then.
No,
Okay.
no.
Well, then
I think we're gonna do an El Camino magazine.
no, you're not. Patrick might want you to, but you're not.
Yeah,
He
I don't
does
think
not want.
but I don't think we're gonna have El Camino magazine.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I do see, and self included, right? So at one point, start C10, go to OBS. At one point, we had Broncos, Fords, and it just gets to be too much. So when you go back to saying stay in your lane, I get it. I mean, I've got the experience to say that I've been there. I've been out of the lane. It's fun. I really like meeting the people, but at the end of the day, I know where my lane is and I know where I want to be. And El Camino's is not one of them. I don't want to be on El Camino Talk, even though there's probably 5 people out there that just want that to happen. It's not going to happen.
Carolina squat talk.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. So I get that with you guys and branching out. I know Classic Trucks, CTP, Class Truck Performance. They do 3 different mags. Truck Hub does Mustang. They do Wheel Hub, Truck Hub, and I think that's it. I don't think.
I think
No, they do. Well, no, they have Wheel Hub is the classics and the rods. I don't know if Mustang Hub is still going there. At one point it was, but I don't follow it enough to know. But I do see where, and I see it where you have the people, the sponsors, and you're like, well, I can give you more bang for the buck. And that was kind of what happened with us was I was like, well, I'm going to start OBS. I love the OBSs. I see that I can tell my sponsors, hey, I can give you a better deal because you're going to get in on 2, then you're going to get it on 3. Say for example, I think like Dakota Digital, hey, I can give you 2 more pods and it's not going to cost you that much more. And I get the juice and the squeeze. So I get that balance, but you're like, hey, this is how we're going to do this. And we're juggling a lot of stuff anyway. So we're going to just kick ass at what we can kick ass at.
Yeah, we just gonna have to weigh out what time we actually have, 24 hours in a day, and how many of those hours can we spend on doing this. So I mean, I think that I've been in the classic car world my entire life. I know the stuff. It's still a steep curve to get into it. It's still a steep curve to produce that kind of content. And there's also a bit of a gatekeeping situation of sorts, and getting past that iron curtain and being accepted into it enough, even though I've been in the industry for 35 years. It's a tough, there's some people that have it on lock. And at I'm 55 years old. I'm I'm not into. I'm not looking to relearn or reinvent a wheel at this point in time. So I have a wealth of knowledge on certain topics. Why don't I exploit that knowledge and use that more efficiently than trying to learn a new trade? So I think,
Man, I don't want to derail CK Truck Mag 2.0, but I've never actually heard that, the gatekeeping thing. I would love that. Will be a great beer discussion, because I think like we're the exact opposite, and maybe that's just because I'm me and I'm my personality, and I'm just, you're, whether you like it or not, it's coming, and here we go. Because I look at both CK from this example, and I look at Patrick, and you guys. I mean, I didn't know you before 2020, either of you, and
right.
I think the community is welcomed both of you in, and you rightfully so. But yeah, that's an interesting discussion. That could be a deep dive on a sidebar. But I feel like our
Yeah.
community, and it might be just automotive. It
And
might be. I mean,
yeah.
I
It's
will.
in the car world. I don't think the truck world at all. The truck
Yeah.
world is very welcoming. The car world,
Good.
that's where
Good.
the gatekeeping is. Yeah.
All
Truck
right.
world, no, we love it.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Okay.
it is, I compare and contrast often, when we're getting content for the car magazines. I was going to a lot of car shows and I'm like, wow, this is drastically different than
Yeah.
going to a truck show. Truck shows, nobody sits behind their truck and drinks beer by themselves. Car shows, that's pretty common.
Mm,
They're not even talking to the guy that's parked next to them. So truck guys probably don't even see their truck the entire time they're at an event. They're just out
yeah.
hanging out and doing their thing. And it doesn't matter what state you're in, what city you're in, what part of the country you're in. The truck shows are the people are just awesome. And I mean, I'm not blowing smoke. It's just
Yeah. No,
how
I
it is.
agree. I
I
mean,
mean,
the trucks are cool, but the people are cooler. And I'm telling you,
absolutely.
we're blessed to have that, and we have some douchebags and dirt bags and whatever, but they usually get run out, and you know, um,
Yeah.
just kind of works its way out. So I will say to
All
the
policing.
audience, from a gatekeeping perspective, one thing I hope you guys don't have to deal with, and I will help you every contact that I have, but somebody who started the pod in 2014, I still have massive challenges getting through to certain companies. Like, it's not, I'm not crying about it. I'm just letting the audience know that you can't just always pick up the phone. And it does come to, like, you got to make some calls, you got to do some hustling, you got to do some following up, and you got roadblocks. And we talked about it prior to hitting record. I'll chase down people, but I'm not chasing you that hard. And I'm sorry to the audience. I used to chase for years, and I'm just not doing it anymore. I just got to the point where I'm like, hey, cool. You want to be on the pod? Then I'll put you on the pod. If you don't, then I'm not gonna, the amount of work. So I hope that you guys, obviously, finding the people and the features of the print won't be a problem. But sometimes you're like, man, what do I have to do to get to the through the door of, like, for me? I mean, I'm going to use Dakota Digital because they're great. I mean, I love Scott; he's my guy, but I'm using him as an
And
example.
they've been with us since day one too.
Well, and
Love them.
I'm going to use this as an example. It is not them, but in using them as an example, I would say, what do I got to do to get to the guy at Dakota? What do I got to do to get to the guy? And sometimes you just can't, and you're just like, really, And for me, one thing I laugh about is, again, I'm using Dakota as an example. They are. I'll do anything for Scott, and I'll push and promote Dakota Digital. I just had this conversation with a follower the other day. Like, you got to have these gauges like that. I love what they do. I've got one company, they won't have anything to do with it when it comes to sponsorships, from my perspective, whether that was with C10 or OBS or whatever. But boy, every time they post, I get tagged, and I just laugh because I'm like, dude, you just want, this free love. And if I ever ask you to come on board, the phone doesn't get picked up. And you're just like, dude, so hypocritical. But you tag me in every freaking thing that you post, yet you won't pick up the phone when I really need something. And they do. They pick up the phone. They just tell me no. So It's just,
Yeah.
there's more challenges, and that's just life. But the audience needs to know that not only in the pod, but also in the print, there's things that are happen that, we're working hard to make the best content and put it out for you and keep you coming back and give you something to listen to and give you something to read and give you something to look at.
Right.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
our overall goal is to bring the best GM truck content that we can provide, whether it be from the guy shooting the stuff. If me and Scott see it ourselves, that is our goal. We want to bring the people the best GM truck content that is possible.
Well, it has to, because it's the world's GM truck magazine.
Oh yeah.
The world's. And it's also #1 GM truck magazine. #1.
I mean, name another.
There is no other, because it's probably one of the only ones that's just GM truck magazine.
I mean, how do you refute a claim like that?
Yeah, I know. We've had plenty of off-air discussions about some of that stuff. So, okay. So, what's some other things that we have to look forward to from the 2.0?
I'm gonna let Patrick go.
I mean, we have a lot of ideas, and we're going to see what sticks, but we're going to start on a small base of giving the readers what they've wanted in the past, which is more tech articles and some more social media video stuff. And we're going to expand upon, we're really going to listen to the subscribers and see what they want, and then formulate a plan of attack and just keep moving forward. But yeah, I think there's much more media that could be had in the overall big grand scheme of things. So that's what I'm excited about. The one thing that I'm going to focus on this year is, bringing some more video aspects to the world. So.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. So I've got more tech. I've got double issues. I've got broader media platforms, which is primarily video. And there was one more thing I can't remember as I was writing those down, but but it'll pop into my head. But so those are the bigger things that we can see coming forward, that we can plan for. Another thing that I think that CK does a good job is all the different shows. So there's always a good place like, hey, CK's got, I know that as I get my monthly magazines, I can see what shows are coming up. What else? There's your social media platform. There was at least on Instagram, kind of slowed down for a little bit. So that, we look forward to that. That's, people need to realize. I literally worked on a post today for probably, now it was a very busy post, but I bet it took me over an hour. Like, I know it did. And then
just as well as we do, how long once you're like thinking that all out. And I know you could schedule posts now and stuff like that. It takes time to really try to get your message across.
Well, I just don't know that everybody realizes when you are a quote unquote influencer, content creator, whatever you want to call it, that when you do these posts, it's not just a random, now with the reels and the different music and the different things that you're going to try to grab people's attention. Like Scott was even saying, something would go viral, how much it takes, from a meta perspective, but there's a lot of work. It can be a lot of work. And I will say that I think Instagram, I don't know if it's a new thing from edits, this new thing. I don't really have it. I just do it my way, and I've always done it that way. Things are just not getting easier. And it's not just because I'm turning into a grumpy old man. It's just like, why is this thing not working? Like, I will lose things. The music won't be right. And I'm just like, so maybe it's my phone. But going back to the changes, more tech, double issues, broader media platform, which is going to include videos. One question I have for Scott, because I love giving Scott a hard time on this. Are you going to keep changing the names of trucks, or is that something that you're going to keep doing, or are you going to go back to like the name of the truck?
So after our last discussion, I really kind of fell in line.
I've watched it. I've watched it quite a bit. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. You still change them sometimes.
Oh yeah. I mean,
once I saw, I still give Sam Castronova a hard time because you changed the one which was to Pool Boy. And I was like, dude, hey, when are you ready to sell it?
That's my greeting to him
Oh
now.
my God. Hey,
What's
pool
up,
boy.
pool boy?
Oh yeah, the
But
truck was Palo Verde, which at one point for the audience, it was Sam's little square body that he had made. He put this little brew station and it had this utility box. And it was an old Palo Verde shotcrete truck. So when he got it, he literally gets this cab, Palo Verde, it names Palo Verde. There it is in the magazine, spread all open, and it's Pool Boy. And I'm like, hey, dude, what's up? They just named your truck Pool Boy. So I did give you a hard time about that. But okay, so
that was a top 10 moment.
yeah, it was awesome.
But
Yeah,
I want to
okay, yeah, go
clarify
ahead.
a couple of things real quick. So the double issues, we're not going to be mailing them out at the same time. So everybody's going to be getting them. You're going to be getting your April issue in March. You're going to be
Okay,
getting your May issue in April. So we're not going to double those up. The first
okay,
two, yes, just because we printed the January
because
issue
you're getting caught up.
later. We're getting caught up. So by the
Okay.
time we get to we'll hit our stride on the April issue, and we'll be on schedule then. So
All right, I'm gonna cross out double issue. For the audience, if I confused you, that's how I heard it. I heard it as that we were gonna get like boom boom, and that was gonna be. But no, you might print them that way, but you're not gonna mail them that way.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, we're only January, February is coming at the exact same time, and that puts us back on track from a business point of view. We're printing 6 times a year instead of 12 times a year.
Yeah,
just so you'll get that one, and then we know exactly when that other one's going to mail, and it'll just help keep everything on track.
Yeah, and I will say, I feel like you guys have been very proactive because, Scott, we see the cover, which I would say is something that's new the last 2 years in print. I would say primarily in the print that I get, you number one, and then maybe down the road a little bit, but we would get, I would not even have my, let's say, issue in the mail for, let's say January. I wouldn't have my January issue in the mail, and I would already see the post of the cover of the February issue. So I don't know that that's the right way to do it. That's how you're doing it. I'm not, I'm not a magazine guru. I just know that then I see it and I'm like, I don't even have my freaking magazine yet, and I already know who's on it. So that'll be interesting to say. But my compliment to you is that it is proactive. That we're seeing it, and there's got to be a balance there where you're like, well, we really want them to be fired up about seeing this magazine. We want to see this. We've got all this content. We want to get it out. So you find that balance because social media is working so fast, but you're like, print's not. It's just analog versus, like you said. So yeah, it's just a balance.
I realize that the topic you're bringing up, it's not logical at all. But the way the print schedule is, and when we have to have our mail data, our subscriber names to the printer in time for them to ship the next book, that overlap, that window is so short in there where we want to, offer it up to people to get a subscription in before the next book goes out. Yeah, it's not logical when you see it pop up and go, oh, I don't even have the previous one. I understand.
I get that. I didn't think about it that way. Like, hey, somebody might see it, and then you're trying to keep the subscriptions going. So that's a good thing. Will you run any? I think you already did, and I might have reposted it. I think, but a subscription teaser coupon, something like that. Right now, I thought you guys posted something.
We actually ran discounted subscriptions for the first time in our entire history right before Christmas.
Okay.
But we got some things. Actually, Patrick and I talked about some things today. We're going to offer up some interesting new ways to purchase a subscription in the next probably the next 15 to 30 days. So
okay, so any teaser like that we can let everybody know? Like, okay, so you're just going to have a stay tuned.
Mm-hmm.
CK Truck Mag on social media. And I'll repost it. There's going to be a way to get some subscriptions going here, and you guys can save the audience.
Yeah, and we've been thinking about different ways to improve the value. I mean, we realize that $50 for a subscription, that's a chunk of change. But when I look back at how much a subscription for BMX Action magazine was when I was 13 or 14, I mean, it was $15. So I mean, do the math, $50. We're not off base on, inflation wise with it. And they're getting a good magazine, so there's we're confident in that part of it. But we may offer a shorter, kind of somebody wants to get their feet wet, do a little trial run, maybe.
Yeah, I do not think $50 at all is. I mean, that's not even that. I'm way. I mean, Truck Hub is $20 like a mag. I mean, it's
it's nice. I mean, there's that's
well, CK is pretty nice. I mean, I'm not you got some really your print quality and stuff. So
but I think they print what 4 mags a year, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I get it that, like you said, I think newsstands, BMX, I used to pay $4.99, ATC World $4.99, Peterson's Off Road. You're dropping $4.99, and then I remember it went to like $8.99. You're like, oh my God. So, speaking of that, newsstands. I mean, at one point, you guys, I didn't know you were at Tractor Supply. So you were at Tractor Supply. You were at, whatever the hell, wasn't there one with a B or something like that?
Barnes & Noble, HEB in Texas, and then Stocking,
Kroger, Meyer, Walmart's, some.
Yeah, because Kroger, I mean, I don't know, because that's our Fry's here.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've seen it, but so will you still be on newsstands or no?
Yeah, we'll be back on newsstands. We're not currently we haven't been able to make the schedule to get on the newsstands. So that'll be happening soon, probably the March
because
issue.
Of the print.
Yeah, all the newsstand scheduling is farther ahead. The window's farther ahead than it is for even the subscribers. So a lot of planning and a lot of legwork to get those out on the stands. But again,
we were talking about that the other day. I think we said April, Scott?
Yeah, March or April. If we can swing the March issue, getting it on the newsstands, then that's good. And I also did hear that Barnes & Noble is opening 60 new stores.
Wow.
This year.
Wow, good for them. That's cool.
Yeah. But
so you already have those contracts, if that's what it takes to the ones that you had, they're still there, they're in place. You just got to meet the deadline to get the books out.
Yeah, to get them there on time and so that they're in that window. I mean, people see a May issue on the shelf, in June, and they're just like, "What's this?" So we want to be there on time. And in the past, historically, we've done, when we've been there on time, which was from March of 21 until the wheels kind of fell off here in October, but we've been on schedule as much as those retailers can be on schedule. So, and it's been a good thing. The Tractor Supply thing, it's been in Rural King too. I don't know if you have Rural King in Arizona. We're rural here, so we have, but it's kind of a TSC kind of thing. And
I've heard of it. I've heard of Rural King and Tractor Supply. We have Tractor Supplies. I just don't really go to them that much, and we have a few different places. I like going to Tractor Supply. What about I was thinking when you said that the print. Yeah, I was thinking about the distribution of the different at the stores. I can't remember what I was thinking there. Going to ask you, but. Oh, swag. I think you guys probably have one of the better swags. You guys do a good job with your swag. Is that something you'll keep up or within time?
Yeah, we've been talking about that too. So in the next, 15 to 30 days, I think we're definitely working on some new designs and some new things to come out with new hats and just we're gonna have some different things this year. So
I will tell you my advice is like that sweatshirt you have on is crisp and clean and no caffeine. So keep it simple. Don't get too carried away. You start to broaden yourself out. People want to see just that. They like that logo. Keep it chill. I think when you start working on too much, it gets crazy. And then,
Yeah.
you know, people, your ability to try to please everybody backfires. Just keep your,
we've seen it firsthand. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, this goes back to my Jegs day. If people have too many choices, they get confused and they just walk away.
Yeah.
So that's a reality. You know,
Cool.
it's not like they're sitting on their computer on Amazon all night. They're walking up to our merch booth at a show for 5 minutes and what am I going to take? Oh, okay. I like that.
Yeah. And
it blows my mind when you go to a show and they got like 50 shirts laid out and you're like, where do you start? You know what I mean?
I blame No Fear for me. When I was a kid and I would go to a motocross thing or a truck show or something, and No Fear had this trailer and they had all these stickers and all these different freaking designs. It was like, oh my God. And it's like I walked up. That's why I don't want to go shopping with my wife ever. It's like too many things. I just want like the same 3 things and I don't want to be overwhelmed. And when I do see something that's like that I like, I'm like, oh, I like that. I don't need to mess around. Like, boom, grab it, go home. Yeah.
Well,
I'm now shopping at Costco clothes now, so I'm really not going to be the guy to ask on some of that shit. I bought some Costco pants the other day. I'm like, oh shit, I got Costco pants. Oh,
Team Kirkland, man.
Yeah, man. I'm just not get carried away. They were actually a brand. I can't remember. They were Team Kirkland, but they were, you know, I don't know what they were. It starts with an H. I'm trying to think. It was whatever brand it was. You know, a Hostler or something. I don't know, something that was a decent brand. But I was like, oh shit, those look nice.
See,
but
back in my day, when I used to race BMX, my mom we'd go to a big race and she'd be like, "Oh, you can get a new pair of Vans." Okay, cool. And we'd go to, you know, whomever it was, if it was Dan's or whoever was selling, you know, BMX stuff at that race, they would always have Vans, but they'd have like 2 colors in my size, you know, and she'd be like, "Which one do you want?" I'm like, I guess I'll take those neon green ones.
You were styling. You were setting the trends, dude. Come on, we know that.
You take it.
Well, I think I'll take you out with that. I guess you know, one thing I'd like to add is I'm glad you're back. I think both of you guys are, you know, I think very highly of both of you. I think you both know that. I think I want to help however I can. You both know that. Is there anything else, you know, shocking, not shocking, that you would like to just make sure we let the people know that CK 2.0, this is what you can expect. This is what we're going to be doing, and we can't wait.
Take it away, Patrick.
I mean, we're excited, and like this is solely based on a passion project. Granted, it is a business. We all know that CK Truck Mag is a business, but really bringing it back to, you know, its roots and giving the people what they want. And, you know, we didn't talk about this. I mean, me and Scott have fully funded this ourselves. You know, we haven't taken $1 from any advertiser this year so far. And, you know, we wanted to make sure that we were 100% back on track before advertisers are, you know, in play. It's what's owed to our subscribers. And now we're going to really work on the business and, you know, make sure that we can execute on all of our goals and all of our plans we have for 2026.
Good. Well, Godspeed, and I think that the community will be happy to hear from both of you, and we're glad to be part of it and help you however we can.
Yeah. If you get anybody sees us at a show or event, I mean, just grab us by the arm. I mean, I think one of our weaker points, I don't know if it's a weaker point, but we just like to talk to people. We like to hang out with people and be part of it. So sometimes that can get a little chatty Cathy and get you know, time consuming, but bring it on. I mean, talk to us. We're just truck enthusiasts and just doing our thing. So,
yeah, truck enthusiasts with a camera and truck enthusiasts with a shop and truck enthusiasts that have a magazine to put out. And, you know, I get it. I see Scott for sure, you know, when he's hustling at, you know, and they're in their mode. I mean, I've got, you know, relationships with a lot of guys that are behind that camera, and, you know, it's like, hey, I want to be, you know, sit here and just hang out with you guys and drink a beer, but I got to work. So I'm kind of working, you know, I mean, that's me with the mic too. So I get that perspective of it, but I think it's going to be awesome for you guys. I think 2026, you know, the 2.0, let us know how we can help. And again, stoked for both of you.
Thanks, Ronnie.
We appreciate it a lot. I mean, your support means a lot to us. So
Good.
Thank you.
You got it. I'm glad we could work through some of our audio. We made it happen. We're going to put it out. You guys heard it. Please follow them if you don't already. I can't imagine you don't, but obviously now, is there a YouTube that's separate yet so we can tell what is it? CK Truck Magazine?
Yeah, we have 4 videos up there. All of our handles on all social media is CK Truck Mag. So Facebook, Instagram. We have a TikTok that has 1 video. We have our YouTube.
Yeah, that's more work, but yeah. Do you get not that you will recycle old stuff, but I think it's good to do that once in a while. Do you have all the ownership for, from day one?
Yeah.
Okay,
everything.
cool. So yeah, maybe
Every
who would have ever thought like you're already to a retro phase of, doing something that would from the 2020 or, the way back or something like that. But yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the source of a lot of our social posts right now,
Yeah. Well, there's plenty of them out there.
We have that content.
I do that sometimes too, where I'll go back like 5 years and something that I had on C10 Nation or something like that and repost it, and it does well, So it's like, you want to keep cool stuff, and I have videos I've never even put out that, if I had a videographer or somebody who could, there's so much content, it's just getting it out and finding the time. So. All right, I'm going to take you guys out. I'm going to go have dinner with the kids and so on and so forth. Thank you guys for making time. I know you're both busy, and we could tell from, the interview, obviously there's a lot of irons in the fire, a lot of hats that some of you guys have never even worn before. Well, both of you are wearing new hats. So love to help you out. However, a lot of spreadsheets and a lot of money going,
Scott's taking care of all the spreadsheets.
Who is?
Scott is. I'm not a spreadsheet guy.
Yeah. I try to be, and then it just ends up being Post-it notes everywhere. So my wife knows what to give me for Christmas is pretty much a stack of Post-it notes.
Legal pads for me. That way I could just go back and check off.
Yeah. I got to see it. I got to write it down. So, okay, guys, thank you so much, both of you. We've got Patrick, we've got Scott, the new 2.0. Good luck, and let us know how we can help you.
Later, dude.
Likewise.
Take
care.
323 in the books. Thanks for sitting down, Scott and Patrick, and taking the time, giving us the update. For you guys, thanks for tuning in. As always, we appreciate the support, and we like to support our mags, right? So we support Classic Truck Performance, CK Truck Mag, Street Trucks, Truck Hub. Yeah, that's pretty much the majority of what we got going on. I mean, we've got Fuel Curve online, which is a really good one. I love that one. Those guys do a good job. So, print media still alive, and I'm glad because it offers up a lot for you, the audience, for us to get your vehicle in print, some tech, and, bring those advertisers to you, people that are making rad stuff that make our lives easier as we're putting together these trucks. So thank you guys again for tuning in. Scott and Patrick, as always, appreciate your time. You guys have a great week. We'll be back with 324, probably more auction talk. All right. Have a great week. Late.